Greetings, St. Columba's. Earlier today, I experienced an extreme disappointment. A much anticipated brief trip out of town to visit a sister was suddenly canceled due to increased COVID risks. No big deal, really, right? In this time of so much loss, so much deprivation, not to mention illness and death, this was actually a minor disappointment. But disappointment is perhaps these days an underrated emotion. Aren't we all disappointed a lot of the time these days? Certainly, as the holidays approach, so many of us have had to forego family gatherings. I even heard that one grocery store is making a fortune selling mini turkeys of about 5 pounds for all the lonely singles and couples planning a sequestered Thanksgiving. For myself, I'd just go with a nice chicken, but that's another story. Disappointment abounds as we move into the holidays. There is disappointment as our transition to a new presidency is delayed. I hardly dare to look forward to the inauguration for fear of some new obstacle. Don't we deserve a season of anticipation here, a time to savor a shift in tone rather than continued protests and stonewalling? And even with mounting anticipation of an effective vaccine in record time, it is disappointing to see the pandemic flaring in so many places. Actually, more than disappointing in this case, really horrifying, especially as it seems that this surge could have been reduced had our whole country been able to act together to do those things which we know help to prevent infection. But for me, I feel a general disappointment with my country as I sense the many ways we've been floundering and how much we are divided in ways that keep us from flourishing. And often, disappointment teeters on the edge of real sadness. I'm thinking of our realization of how deeply the stain of racism still impacts our life. It seems our assumptions of progress have been somewhat illusory, and that it is indeed a great disappointment and a sadness as well. I could go on about the many areas of disappointment that tinge our lives these days, but disappointment is not, of course, the only measure of our experience. Despite it, or along with it, we do experience hope and delight and joy, perhaps all the more poignantly in this dreary time. And one antidote, at least for me today, to disappointment has been conversation. After finally connecting with my sister on the phone and carefully going over all imagined risk factors, we agreed on a shorter, more distanced visit, one that would be safe enough for us both to enjoy. My spirits have lifted as I contemplate my long-awaited drive to Pittsburgh. Who knew it could be so alluring? But mainly my disappointment has been overcome by the simple human interaction of listening and being open and expressing one's concerns and then making some changes on both sides. Conversation leading to compromise and overcoming disappointment. Yet another way that love plays out in our lives. I wish it happened more often in the wider arenas of our public life. Amen.